Okay, we're going to go through how to cook a perfect pork roast if we get the nice crackle. When I'm cooking as a caterer, I usually ask, what's up, what do you want on your menu? Pretty much every time the first thing they say, we want the pork roast, we want your crackle, which is all very good. But to tell you the truth, a camp oven is not really the best place to cook pork roast and get perfect crackle. You're better off with a nice, put it on a spit or something like that, because it loves a dry heat. And camp ovens, by the definition of the way they cook, they bake, but they also use steam, and steam is the enemy of the crackle. But there is a way you can do it, now obviously, because I've been doing it for a long time. And I'm going to run you through my methods of actually getting that nice crackle and how not to let the steam ruin that beautiful crackle that you're after. First of all, now I've got my beautiful piece of pork here, look at that, it's lovely. I've just got him out of the packaging and I'm just going to dry him off, get him nice and dry. If I'm at home, you know, you can take the wrapper off and leave him exposed in the fridge for a while. That will dehydrate him as well. I'm just going to paper towel him off. And that should be about right. And I'm just going to put a bit of salt on him. Just a sprinkle of salt. There we go. That'll do. And that's ready to go. Now another thing, I've made sure I've got the right size pork. Okay, because when I lift this up and put it in here, you can see that fits in there, there's plenty of room. This is a fairly flat lid on this particular camp oven. I don't like to have the lid too close to the meat. I probably would have liked to have had a higher one, but it'll be right, we'll work this. I don't want to have too hot on the lid because it'll actually start to burn the crackle. Now the technique involved of not letting the steam in is going to happen by a thing called venting the lid. Now what we do is actually close the lid. Okay, that's going to build up steam pressure and that is going to ruin the crackle. So by venting the lid, it's just that. We just offset that lid so that it can't build up any steam pressure. Steam is going to be releasing at all times, and I'm going to cook the whole roast like that so it never actually builds up steam pressure. And some people say, yeah, put a lot of heat on top. I don't really put any more than I normally would. Maybe a little bit, but just the fact that you're not letting the steam build up, that will crackle up over the time of the whole cook, which, looking at the size of that, I'm looking at 1.5 to 2 hours of cook time for that one. So anyway, I'm going to get him on the fire and get some heat on him and we'll crackle him up. Okay, a little bit of heat underneath. It's already pretty warm there, so I won't need a real lot. I'll adjust that on the fly. I hear it sizzling. Put my camp oven on there. Right. Some heat on that lid. That'll be enough to start. It's got to warm up the temperature of the iron, and so that's safe to leave like that with the lid enclosed for a couple of minutes. You don't have to vent it straight away. It'll take a little while for everything to come up to temperature, but then it's important to start venting your lid. I know this is going to come up pretty quick because these are Gidgee coals and they are very hot, so I'm actually going to offset this lid right now. And I'm just going to offset it there a little bit so you can see that crack. That'll stop it from steam building up. And pretty much that's it. Put it on the clock and we'll check it in about an hour's time and make sure everything's going along nicely. I'll have one ear on it, listening to the sizzle, making sure it's going even. And hopefully we've got a beautiful pork dinner coming up tonight. When you're cooking with crackling, pay attention. That's my biggest advice. Pay close attention. I've done it with big ovens and big lumps of pork, and I've had 15, 20 other camp ovens working around me, and I've had to delegate, okay, helper, you keep an eye on them because I'm cooking pork in this one and I can't take my eyes off it. And I'll literally stand there and lifting the lid, clearing the steam, putting it back on, and keeping an eye on that crackle, because if it gets to the point where it is a very fine line between perfect crackle and burnt crackle, and if I'm getting to the point where the top bit's really perfect but it's about to go to the burn mark, I'll rip the lid off, run a strip of foil across that bit, and then throw the lid back on so it can crackle down the rest of it. Okay, so Yeah, but that's only because I'm paying attention. You've got to pay attention to it all the time. Righto, we've been cooking this roast here now, the pork roast, for a couple of hours, about 2.5 hours, and I think it's pretty much close and ready to done. I've had the lid vented for the whole cook, so there's been no steam pressure building up in there. There should, in theory, be a nice little bit of crackle. Anyway, I'm going to lift that lid and have a look. Let's shake off some of that ash. Righto, here it goes. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's looking pretty good to me. Boys are going to be eating tea tonight. I'll be happy about that. Okay, we better get this off the heat. And I'll pick him up. It's a pretty old oven, this one. It's about 85, 90 year old. And oh, listen to that going. Beautiful. Up onto the stand here. Oh, the smell. Yeah. That's going to go down nice tonight, along with a little bit of red wine, fermented grape juice. Fantastic. Okay, here we go. We're going to lift this out and have a look at my pork roast and carve him up. Look at the crackle on that. How good is that? Yeah, we'll just sit him on those leaves there. That'll help soak up the juices off me board. And we'll dig him in, and we might have a little bit of a slice off here and see how it goes. Oh, how good's that? The flies are loving it, that's for sure. Nice big cut. Okay, we're just going to grab a towel and cover this up because there's a few bush flies around. We don't want any of those bush raisins getting all over the food. I've got one over here. Oh wait, lovely. Okay, so the key secret to getting that crackle right is just leave your lid vented. You can do it throughout the whole cook and just leave it on a tiny crack there. That way the steam pressure can't build up. If the steam pressure builds up, that's going to turn all that crackle into leather. Okay, so don't let it steam up. If you put your vegetables in there with your pork, again, you're going to turn that crackle into leather. So don't put any vegetables with it. Just run a nice dry oven like that. I do it directly on the floor of the camp oven too, no trivet. Okay, if I wanted to have vegetables with this, what I would do now is just let that meat rest because it's just going to get better. I would take my camp oven back over. It's because it's been running with the lid vented, there is no water in there. What's in there is just oil, and it's flavoured with that beautiful pork flavouring. So nothing better than cooking vegetables in that, I can guarantee you that. So to cook the veggies now to make this baked dinner complete, I can put this back on the fire, get that simmering away pretty hard, drop in my vegetables and get colour on them. Just sit them there, let them brown up, turn them over, let them brown up. As soon as I've got the colour I'm after, I whack the lid back on and let them steam for about 15 minutes under that steam pressure. And then I pull them off and then carve me meat. The meat will be beautiful, the vegetables will be beautiful, and what a meal that would be.